Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Sirac, and for this persuasive speech, I'm going to be talking about something very near and dear to my heart, something that I had the privilege of experiencing with my mother, my brother, and my wife, and it's experiencing the rock-hewn churches of Lalibela in Ethiopia. My family, they are Ethiopian, and I was born in Windsor, Ontario, in Canada, but both my parents were born and raised in Ethiopia. And so growing up, I've always felt like maybe a little bit removed from my culture, my ethnicity, growing up in a different country while also still trying to hold on to my roots. But in 2019, I had the awesome privilege of going back to Ethiopia to visit my mother's childhood home, her school, and I got to sightsee around the country to, just see where I'm from, to see what my ethnicity was all about. And it was a very powerful experience. One of the places that we got to see was a archaeological site in northern Ethiopia called Lalibela. And in this archaeological site, there were 11 rock-hewn churches, and these churches were carved out of stone in the late 12th and early 13th century. And I'm here to inform you or persuade you that it is of the utmost importance to travel and visit specifically Lalibela, but in general to visit Christian historical archaeological sites, to engage with our faith, to see what our faith is all about, but to also uh, feel yourself as a part of the fabric of our Christian history. And so to me, this is something that gets me really excited and it gets me really interested, because I think there are a lot of young people who are ethnically, maybe from one country, born in another, growing up in another, and they're experiencing lots of different cultures. Whereas historically, maybe you were born in one culture, you were raised there, you lived there. And so there's a tremendous opportunity for many young generations today to be exposed to different cultures, to celebrate what's there, and to hold on to the good, to keep our Christian faith going, moving forward. But at the same time, there's a kind of a call to definitely modern culture and innovations and new ideas to where we lose culture. So I think it's really important for us to be tied to history, to be tied to a story that kind of unites all of us, and specifically that can happen through being engaged with historical Christianity. So this experience of being in Lalibela was one that really shaped me and impacted me. It was a archaeological site that it had an altitude of about 2,480 meters. The archaeological site, it consisted of 5 churches north of the town's River Jordan and 5 south of the river, and there was one independently located. And these churches were made through kind of a subtractive process, meaning that it was created by removing material. It was made by carving these churches out of stone. And many of these churches were the result of a process of using basic tools with hammers and chisels, which make it even more spectacular to think of the technological advances that we have today building our churches, and maybe even sometimes the lack of archaeological significance in modern buildings and modern structures. In this experience, we just had seen the creativity, the symbolic, images that were used to communicate ideas about God and components of the biblical story. And then just the deep tradition and ritual that's inhabited within the Eastern Orthodox Church. So as we were walking from church to church, we were struck by just how magnificent these archaeological buildings were. Not only were they archaeological magnificent, but they were very spiritually significant for us to see all the different shapes of the different crosses. In fact, there were lots of monks and religious people of the Eastern Orthodox Church that were gathered all around the churches to pray at certain times of the day. and their devotion and their commitment to their traditions were very powerful. These churches at Lalibela, they hold important religious significance because they form a pilgrimage site with a particular spiritual and symbolic value, because the churches represent a layout representing the holy city of Jerusalem. In fact, the site today continues to be used for daily worship and prayer, the celebration of religious activities and festivals, and there are actually still churches that meet there. It's turning into more and more of a tourist attraction, I think, to generate revenue for the local cities. But there were definitely a lot of visitors that were there, I think, just to connect with and engage with their faith on a deeper level. There's been some different aspects of funding for this archaeological site. The European Union, there were 4 shelters that were built in 2008 to cover 5 of the site's churches, to find a temporary mode of protection for the structures until a more long-term solution could be decided upon. The shelters, I think, have since been taken down, and the names of the 11 churches are the House of St. George, House of Virgins, House of Golgotha Michael, House of Mary, House of the Savior of the World, House of the Cross, House of Abbot Libanos, House of Emmanuel, House of Gabriel Raphael, House of Holy Bread, and House of Mercurios. And so this experience of visiting these churches was very powerful to me. It was very impactful, and I think it really stretched and shaped me to engage with my faith on a historical level, because I know, Fuller has been really good about just communicating that there are many expressions of Christianity and that we should celebrate them and engage with them. And I think this experience kind of lined up with the Fuller experience, with the Fuller philosophy, and it was a very positive experience for me. So I encourage you guys to visit and engage with historical sites of Christianity. Thanks, guys. Bye.